All right. Welcome back, everyone. You're looking at the screen and noticing something different. You're right. COREUM Concepts is officially rebranded to TX Concepts. Thanks for joining me here tonight. My name's Chris, reporting from the beautiful Salt Spring Island in Western Canada. This hasn't been just a name change for the channel. It's our commitment to staying at the forefront of the most significant merger in the history of this ecosystem. As Sologenic and COREUM unite to become TX, we're evolving right alongside them. We're moving from COREUM Concepts to an era focused on TX Concepts. And today we're breaking down exactly what this means for the future of on-chain value and this channel and the community that supported me to get to this point. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Just going to do a quick sound check, make sure everything's good. Say hello in the comments. If you have any questions, drop them there. This is streaming on X, YouTube, and Zora, so I'll be looking at all of them to make sure there's any questions. This is meant to bring you some value, some answers if you have any questions. If you're looking to bridge to the COREUM or TX blockchain for the first time from the XRPL, here to help guide you through that. CORE Marshall's here, Bibby's here. Let me know if the sound's okay. Don't want to go 8 minutes in with no sound. It's been a while. It's been a quiet the last year. The team has been in stealth mode, as they said. Well, now we all know why. Big merger and big changes. So there wasn't a lot to report on. Haven't put out a lot of videos in the last year. The ecosystem has grown a little bit. A few builders out here, COREUM Labs, DGen Labs, a few others building in the ecosystem, but hasn't been a lot to cover as far as deep dive content. It's been quiet over the Cosmos ecosystem, but that's all changed. Here we are. TX Concepts, we've done the new rebrand here. And let's get into it. Before we get too far into it, if you want to support what we're doing here, staking your COREUM or your soon-to-be TX tokens, I guess it will be called. If you find your way to the COREUM Community DAO Validator, you can learn more about that at COREUMDAO.com. And you can link to your staking right from there. We take all those commissions and return it back to the community to find ways to bring value to you guys. And one way we're doing that here is on cruise control right now. We put up 5,000 COREUM and 50,000 CCD tokens in a bonus rewards for the CCD COREUM pool on cruise control dashboard there for 4 weeks. It's probably about halfway through there. And there's a couple other pools that have incentives on there to encourage you to check out the Join Cruise Control platform if you haven't already. Also, a reminder that COREUM Community DAO quarterly rewards next snapshot's coming up in about a month, March 21st. Everybody that's staking on the COREUM Community DAO validator will be qualified for the quarterly drops, and it is the first one of the year, so you'll get an NFT with that you'll want to collect all 4. We have another promotion going on right now, being that TX has done a rebrand. We need some content out there, so Creative Lava was kind enough to put out this post on behalf of COREUM Community DAO. Crypto Twitter creators, content hunters, airdrop chasers, it's time to show off your gift skills. Your mission: make gifts for TX.org branding and post them on X. Prizes for the first 5 verified gifts of 5,000 CCD tokens, COREUM Community DAO rewards tokens. And that's for each of the 5, and that will double if the GIF has a CCD logo on it. So to participate in that, you just tag COREUM DAO, follow the account, verification, you make sure you timestamp it, and only the first 5 usable GIFs with the correct tagging and following get rewarded. You can check out more at our Discord also. Thank you, Lava, for putting that out. All right, we take a look at the comments before we get too far into it here. What do we got here? Let's get me off the screen for starters. We certainly don't need my face in there. Let's go. My mouse is locked up there. There we go. Let's go this way. All right. What do we got here? Charles, quick question. If you have USDC Noble on COREUM mainnet, is there anything I need to do for the chain transition? At this time, I don't think there's anything you have to do with USDC Noble. I know they are moving off of the Cosmos ecosystem, but I'll look into that a little bit further for you and get back to you on another episode about that specifically. But for now, I don't think you have to worry about doing anything on the short term anyways. All right, and we got GoGoTX. Nice. Zero Cools here. Good evening. All right, what else we got here? I sent. What do we got here? I sent my COREUM to Apple phone app, the Sologenic Dex. Can I still get the airdrop, or is it too late? The other question is, if not, how do I convert the core coins to Sologenic Dex for TX? Yeah, we'll get into that. No, definitely not too late. Everything is coming about here in the next few weeks. March 6th is the actual date for bridging or merging your Sologenic over. So you haven't missed anything yet. No problems there. And we'll dive into it a little bit more detail here in just a few minutes. All right, so it looks like we're caught up there. Let's take a look here. All right, going to Smart Stake Analytics page, validator on the TX network. COREUM sees modest growth. This is for the last week here in the ecosystem. COREUM sees modest growth amid stable activity. COREUM experienced a week of stable growth marked by increases in stake, wallet numbers, and a slight price uptick. The network's solidity was underscored by no slashing events and a consistent performance in validator activities, making it a period of quiet but steady momentum. That's not too bad, all things considered. Here, as you can see, you got just over 13,000 active addresses, 4 cents price. You got 511 million tokens staked, and undelegations just under 1 million. And there's been a lot of unstaking. The foundation undelegated from the validators they were supporting. So the API is abnormally high at the moment, and metrics are a little bit off skew there. And taking a look at the validator set, there we go. COREUM Community DAO, you can see we're in 27th in voting power, just over 5 million tokens there, 478 unique delegates. Thank you, each and every one of you. Appreciate the support. And strong growth here in the last while. So yeah, appreciate everybody's there. And it's been a while since we did a video. We got a new number one validator in the ecosystem here. That's changed in the last few weeks. You see 007 TX would have been formerly known as 007 COREUM, but they are now the number one validator with just over 70 million tokens locked up. Zen Lounge number 2 is 68.8, number 3 Cosmos Station at 40.1, and 4th Bruges COREUM at 36.2, And rounding out fifth position is BitTrue at 33.9 million. So 64 validators on the set there. Got a couple new ones here. We'll dive into that more later in the week as we get closer to the TGE, because I suspect there'll be a few more changes there yet. We'll dive into the markets here before we get into the big changes here. Total crypto market cap here on the weekend, we're sitting at 2.3 trillion, and gold is trading at $5,108 after some strong runs here of late. Silver, and this is on the weekly chart, by the way, that we're looking at here. Silver is trading at $84.62, DXY 97.789. See Bitcoin trending downwards at 67,880. Likewise, XRP at $1.41.8. Ethereum fell below that 2,000 mark. And COREUM, soon to be known as TX, is trading just below 4 cents. And we'll be coming back to this here maybe a little later. I just drew some real crude lines. I'm not a TA expert, so this isn't meant to be precise. It's just for quick visuals here. This green line's representing March 6th when TGE goes live and the projects all converge into one. New tokenomics, new tokens minted, and the new path forward. But we'll dive into that a little bit later. You see Sologenic here is trading at a 7.95 cents, which is interesting because the one thing we do know is every Sologenic is worth 2.29 COREUM. So currently there's a little bit of arbitrage opportunity there. Moving onwards, you got Zebek again. These are on the weekly charts, trading at 0.002. Canton Network, you can see it at 16 cents. Zora at 2 cents. Jackal, just over half a penny. You can see a lot of downward pressure on a lot of these altcoins, all looking fairly similar in pattern. Stargaze, Atom, same thing there at $2.28. Hedera, just under 10 cents, if you can imagine that. Looking at the crypto stocks, got Coinbase looking like the altcoins pretty much at $171.35. Circle, same story there on the weekly chart, $63.02. WonderFi is at 32 cents, and Immutable Holdings at 7.5 cents. All right, so there we go. All right, here we go. I don't see any questions. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I will get to them on the show before we wrap things up here. Let's continue on. February 10th, we had a posting from TX. Let me get you to that screen. There we go. Today marks the start of TX, a unified operating system for real-world asset tokenization, bringing infrastructure, regulation, and products into a single coordinated platform built to make tokenization scalable, compliant, and global. Let's take a look here.
This is how markets were built. Loud, chaotic, centralized, controlled by a few. Open only during their hours, borders, licenses, and closed doors. You cannot buy fractional ownership of real estate. You cannot own equity in films, music, or intellectual property you believe in. You cannot trade stocks and ETFs 24/7. Not because blockchain cannot do it, because regulation, brokers, and markets were never built for it. Until now. TX is where anyone can access and trade real-world assets, built inside regulated frameworks, not around them. Ownership becomes fractional, access becomes global. Liquidity never sleeps 24/7. No open, no close, no permission. Real assets, real ownership, real legal rights. TX.
All right, there you go. Powerful opening introduction from TX. That was just after the vote went through. And let's talk about that. It was COREUM proposal number 29. Official results came out that day, February 10th, as you can see. This report summarizes the final and official outcome of the COREUM governance proposal 29 based exclusively on the immutable on-chain voting record as displayed by MinScan. Voting is formally concluded and the proposal result is final under COREUM's governance rules. So here's the information. Here is the voting status and final result. Voting period was February 5th until February 10th. Final proposal status has passed. Quorum requirement was 40%. Actual turnout 92.12%, which is huge. I did an article on that actually. It's a huge turnout in governance. As far as the Cosmos ecosystem is concerned, anyway. So, all governance requirements for passage were satisfied and exceeded. Final on-chain voting results. Participation, 92.12% of eligible voting power, exceeded the quorum by a large margin, and the yes votes, 87.2%. So there you go. Such a strong turnout, 87% saying yes. No was 0.38%, and no with veto, 12.22%. All right, so these values reflect the finalized tally recorded on-chain at the close of voting. Their interpretation of the results reflect strong community participation and an overwhelming affirmative vote. The turnout exceeding 92% is significantly above typical governance participation levels in decentralized networks and indicates that token holders viewed the proposal as strategically material. That's true. Typically, we're getting about like 60% turnout on governance. Some it's, struggle to even get to quorum. So with more than 87% of voting power supporting the proposal, the outcome represents a clear mandate from the COREUM community. All right. So what the vote means, the direction, I went through this previously, so I'm not going to go through it all again. We're going to kind of get into a good summary that a good friend Articulate did here. We'll jump over there and share that. Big shift underway in real world asset tokenization, and TX is positioning itself as the operating system behind it. Let's break down what TX is, where it came from, and why the Kraken integration matters. TX is a purpose-built layer 1 blockchain focused on tokenizing RWAs, real-world assets, stocks, ETFs, commodities, real estate, collectibles, and alternative assets with compliance built into the stack. TX emerges from the merger of two established ecosystems, COREUM and Sologenic. The goal to remove fragmentation across chains, tokens, and liquidity, and unify under one network and one token, TX. The migration structure, COREUM is going to convert to TX at 1-to-1. No actions required for mainnet COREUM. You don't have to unstake. Your wallet address stays the same. Really nothing to do there. If you have COREUM elsewhere on the XRPL, there's now even more reason than ever to get it bridged to mainnet and have it converted to TX at 1-to-1. These ratios will stay for the rest of time. So nothing's going to change with the ratios. That's why I was pointing out there's actually an opportunity right now at the little bit of arbitrage there. Solo TX ratio is at a fixed conversion of 1 solo token to 2.292756. This consolidates governance, staking, and liquidity into a single asset. TX's model is not just another chain. It's built as a full tokenization infrastructure, issuance tools, compliance controls, marketplace rails, cross-chain interoperability. For issuers, no-code dashboards, programmable compliance, and regulated distribution partners. For traders, multi-asset access via wallet-based markets. For devs, WASM smart contracts, and cross-chain bridges. The regulatory design is central. TX itself is not a broker-dealer. Instead, it integrates the third-party partners for compliant issuance and distribution. So that's also part of the merger. It's not just Sologenic and COREUM merging into TX. Texture Capital is a big part of this. That's bringing the broker-dealer license, and it's the whole package together that makes this TX project unique and a first mover in this space. The target market is massive, trillions in traditional assets that are still largely off-chain. Tokenization is the bridge infrastructure, or tokenization is the bridge, infrastructure is the bottleneck. TX is built to be that rail layer. Exchange visibility is now accelerating. Kraken has added TX chain support on its listing roadmap, a meaningful credibility and access milestone. Kraken is one of the most established and trusted crypto exchanges globally. Early chain support signals ecosystem confidence and future liquidity pathways. They are also reported to be a new validator on the COREUM or on TX network. I haven't seen evidence of that at this time. TX's positioning, operating system for tokenization, compliance-first architecture, unified real-world asset marketplace vision, institutional integration focus. Many real-world asset projects focus on assets. TX focuses on infrastructure and standards and compliance tooling. That's where durable network effects form. As tokenized markets scale, the winners are likely the chains built specifically for regulated asset flows, not retrofitted later. TX is making that bet early as one of the more structured RWA plays on the board. Watch the rollout, TGE milestones, exchange integrations, and issuer onboarding. That's where the signal will show up first. All right, on. So that was a great thread by Articulate. And let's just move over to tx.org. We're going to take a look at the team here real quick. As you can see here, this is Mike McCluskey, CEO, COREUM Sologenic, and now co-founder of TX. The path forward: for years, our ecosystem has been split between two strengths. COREUM built the rails and Sologenic built the reach. Everyone here has felt the gap: two names, two narratives, fragmented liquidity. The ingredients were right, but the story wasn't unified. This is the moment that all changes. Together, we can build TX, one chain, one token, one mission. We will become the leading execution layer for real-world assets on a global scale. There we go. And then taking a look at the team: Mike McCluskey, CEO. Oh, his bio's not there anymore. No, I guess not. And then we have Ashley Ebersley. And well, I did a video of this previously and they were showing up there, but he is the chief legal officer. He has a background from the SEC. So this is the leadership team. Norbert van Nobelen, chief technology officer. Advisory board, you have Richard Johnston from Texture Capital and Bob Ross and Areza Basash from Cornest Capital. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then a lot of the familiar faces between the COREUM and Sologenic team have now been combined into one. So powerful team building out the TX network. All right, let's take a look, see what we got here. Chris has issues. It's a great name. Good evening. Thank you for stopping by too. We are just going to take a look at the TX ecosystem, answer any questions anybody has. I'm going to take a little stop here. Well, not a stop, but we're going to take a look at a video here of Ashley Eversley, the co-founder of TX, on the New York Stock Exchange FinTech TV yesterday. And while we do that, feel free to ask any questions. We'll dive into that when I get back. But a lot to cover here today. Like I said, we're going to go through the TX ecosystem, finish that up, and then also, again, revisit the COREUM Community DAO updates. They have a lot going on here right now. And maybe play a little track Articulate drop there a bit later as a little gem later in the show. And also take a look at a couple articles I did here in the last few days I think are bringing some value, and then do a little bit of TA too. So with that, also a reminder that we do get together every Sunday on X, 12 p.m. Pacific, for an X space, and it is TX Talks. Feel free to join us there tomorrow. All right, so with that, let's get into this one here. This was shared by Smart Meme. They clipped out the clip of the TX ecosystem co-founder and CLO Ashley Eversley live on FinTech TV at the New York Stock Exchange discussing tokenization and AI. TX is leading the conversation. All right, let's take a look here.
Welcome back to this Friday edition of Taking Stock. I'm JD Durkin down here on the trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Our next guest also joins us remote, Ashley Eversole, co-founder and chief legal officer at TX. Ashley, it is great to have you here joining Taking Stock. I want to get your perspective on what some people are calling crypto winter, ongoing crypto bear market. A lot of skepticism, a lot of concerns here, Ashley, given where the crypto majors have been trading off those Monday, October 6th highs. What do you make of where the crypto majors are today?
So first, JD, I want to thank you so much for having me on. It's great to be on FinTech TV again, and great to connect with you. I think that the crypto winter characterization is certainly borne out by some of the price performance, but I think you got to put it in context of where we were after the substantial price buildup in 2025. That was obviously accompanied by a lot of new institutional products like ETFs coming online and building up demand and liquidity in the space, driving prices up. And then, crypto's a full-scale financial market now. You saw a turn when geopolitics and other things led to institutional selling, and you saw the effects of that. And you've continued to see some volatility into 2026. So, it's a volatile ride, and crypto is proving that it behaves like a legit, real financial market and is not immune to macro pressures.
Ashley, how is all this impacting your work at TX? And talk to us a bit more about your priorities here in early 2026 for anyone a bit unfamiliar with what TX is all about.
Sure. So TX was built on the thesis that the next big movement in the crypto space will be movement of real world assets on chain. There's obviously only one real way for that to happen, which is tokens that are backed by real world assets that represent them in some way. So TX is the unified marketplace for real world assets and operating system for the tokenization of real world assets. Think of us like Amazon as what we're aiming for, to sort of own the overall operations in this space. Where we are right now, from a policy perspective, in many ways couldn't be better. You've got a very supportive administration. You've got alignment across the various organs of our political system that are in favor of crypto, that want to see the United States remain a leader and remain competitive in crypto. That's going to be the same for asset tokenization as that market continues to evolve. And we look forward to remaining in that dialogue, remaining close to the regulatory changes, and riding the wave, I guess.
Right on. Hey, man, we'll all ride the wave here together. Before I let you go, agentic AI, we've already been talking about it in the cycle for quite some time, but really it's come to the forefront, I'd argue, especially the last few months. Is crypto the native currency inherently for more of an autonomous machine to machine, type of commerce under agentic AI?
Well, I think it's helpful to think about it from the perspective of, if you have AI agents talking to each other, wanting to transact with each other, they're not going to do it in fiat. They're not going to do it on traditional bank rails. What is the natural way it's going to happen? It's going to happen through digital finance. And so, in addition to the huge shift that we see continuing into the RWA space, I do think that the continued interaction and enmeshing of agentic AI with crypto assets is only going to accelerate.
Ashley Ebersol, co-founder, chief legal officer at TX. Thank you for joining us on the Friday edition of the show. Have a terrific weekend. The rest of you watching, don't go anywhere. Much more.
All right, there we go. So that brings up a few other points about this merger. It's going to bring TX, this project, back to the US. So this will be a US project again. And that's going to leave Ashley, who you just heard speaking there, I said co-founder and CLO of TX. He's going to be in Washington, boots on the ground. That's where he is located. And the other connection, regulatory, as he said, regulatory position is couldn't be better in his opinion. Richard Johnson, the Texture Capital part of this equation. Texture Capital bringing the broker-dealer license. Richard was not just part of, he was a contributor at the SEC roundtables, if you remember, last year. So, I'm actually working on a pretty good article breaking down that conversation that through his transcripts back then, and in a new light now that we know what the TX vision was and what they were building behind the scenes here for the last year. All right, I've got some questions here. So when will TGE drop after TX? Yeah, that'll be on March 6th. You will see that there. All right, let's continue on. Wanted to, for those of you that have COREUM IOUs or Bridge COREUM or XCORE still on the XRPL, you're going to want to get that migrated over. You've been missing out on significant staking rewards for quite a long time already, but those rewards are going to continue on as they have. But in addition to that, there's an additional distribution model to this TG event that you would want to be staked for to be part of that. And these early distributions are going to be the higher ones. So now would definitely be the time to get yourself positioned to take advantage of that. And to do that, again, the Sologenic products will migrate to tx.org, and you will see a tool there for Sologenic. This bridging process I'm going to show now is for COREUM and XCORE that you can move now ahead of the event. You can just head to the Sologenic DEX. All right, there you go. We're at the DEX here, and you can go to the dApps, and you can see Sologenic DEX interchain bridge. That's where we're going to go there, and you would select the bridge XRPL and IBC chains. And this is what the bridge process looks like here. All right, so you got your XRPL COREUM, your wallet's connected, and you can see IOU COREUM on the XRPL, and then you connect your wallet. I don't have my wallet connected at the moment. Leap Wallet's an easy one to use to get onto the COREUM mainnet IBC side of things, but you can use Kepler, several others available too. And this is where you bridge over. So I'm going to be doing an updated tutorial on that, but just wanted to show people where to access the bridge, find their way over there. Pretty quick, easy process. A lot of improvements here lately, so not too much of a problem there. So the other part is just getting ahead of it. Right around March 6th, TG is probably going to be a little bit more congested, a lot more activity. So might be good just to stay ahead of that if you have COREUM or XCORE to move over. All right, I did this story here yesterday. It's a pretty big deal, again, when they're talking about being in a good position, a regulatory sense. The article I did was Capital Revolution, the SEC's 2% haircut update and its impact on Solotex and TX market. So on February 19th, the SEC's Division of Trading and Markets issued a landmark update to its frequently asked questions relating to crypto asset activities. I think Hester Pierce was a big part of this. Introducing a rule that fundamentally changes the economics of digital finance by allowing 2% haircut on stablecoin positions. The SEC has effectively removed the liquidity tax that previously blocked major banks and brokers from the crypto ecosystem. For Solotex and the newly launched TX market, this is an igniter that transforms their institutional SDK API connectivity from a technical tool into a massive capital efficiency engine. So what is a 2% haircut and why does it matter? In a traditional brokerage, haircut is a discount applied to an asset's value when calculating a firm's net capital. Previously, this is to see how significant this is. Previously, many broker dealers had to apply 100% haircut to stablecoins like USDC. So the old way, if a broker held $100 million in stablecoins, the SEC treated it as zero for regulatory capital purposes. This made it prohibitively expensive for banks to hold stablecoins on their balance sheets. The new way, the SEC now permits a 2% haircut for payment stablecoins issued by regulated entities like those used by Solotex. So that'd be like your USDC, your RLUSD. That same 100 million is now worth 98 million in the eyes of regulators. The impact, this aligns stablecoins with money market funds, treating them as ready market assets. It allows institutions to use stablecoins as working capital for settlement without draining the regulatory reserves. All right, so igniting the TX market institutional bridge. So let's take a look at that. Here is the TX market, all assets, one marketplace. So there's nowhere really to go on this page yet. It's coming soon. And then back to the web page that we were out there previously. All right, so the SDK and API connectivity was the capital cost of moving in and out of fiat. The 2% haircut removes this barrier, creating a flood of institutional interest for several reasons. instant liquidity for banks. Banks can now hold stablecoin buffers to facilitate 24/7 trading for their clients via the TX Market API. Because the capital penalty is now negligible, 2%, they can maintain deep liquidity pools for tokenized US stocks like Apple or Tesla and others that are going to be offered through Solotex. SDK adoption. Traditional brokers can now plug in the Solotex SDK to their existing apps. Since they can now treat their stablecoin inventory as high-quality collateral, the ROI on integrating Solotex's infrastructure has increased overnight. Institutional finance connectivity. This rule change makes TX Market the first platform where a U.S. bank can treat a blockchain-native dollar with the same regulatory respect as a treasury bill. For U.S. residents using Solotex.com, this regulatory shift translates into a more robust and liquid marketplace. Lower fees and tighter spreads, institutional grade safety, real-time settlements. While other platforms are scrambling to meet the SEC's new ready market criteria, which requires specific money transmitter licensing and reserve disclosure, Texture Capital, the broker-dealer powering Solotex, is already built on a foundation of FINRA and SEC compliance. The SDK API advantage. Solotex is the first to offer a fully compliant brokerage-as-a-service API for banks. So think about it. This is far more than just a token. This is a whole tokenization ecosystem. The 2% haircut is the green light for these banks who are waiting to finally deploy capital into the Solotex ecosystem. Sologenic and COREUM integration. By leveraging Sologenic's front-end tech and the ISO 20022 compliant COREUM blockchain, TX Market provides the exact transparency and reporting tools the SEC highlighted as necessary for this 2% treatment. The SEC's move is a massive validation of the Solotex vision. By reducing the capital cost of crypto by 98%, the SEC has invited the world's largest financial institutions to trade on-chain. TX.market stands at the gates, providing the API and SDK connectivity these institutions need to enter the era of tokenized finance. So you can take the link to the post the SEC put out there and the tx.org site and solotex.com. Solotex.com is one of the 9 asset issuers set to launch on or about day 1. All right, so let's go back on that. And that's what this article is about, exploring the TX market, real-world asset tokenization issuers. Okay, so key features of the TX ecosystem. Issuer cockpit, a white label dashboard for no-code asset issuance, complete with smart token frameworks that embed permissions, compliance flags, and customizable contracts. Cross-chain bridge, seamless interoperability across the XRPL, Cosmos, and EVM networks, enabling atomic settlements with multiple stablecoins and ISO 20022 compatibility. Native secondary markets, an order book with programmable compliance and liquidity logic, plus real-time data analytics for monitoring investor activities. Global distribution, partnerships with regulated intermediaries in North America, Europe, and LATAM ensure broad reach without issuers navigating complex regs themselves. Compliance is a big focus. TX Market isn't a broker-dealer or an exchange itself, but relies on third-party providers like Texture Capital, a FINRA SEC registered broker-dealer, to handle regulated activities. This setup minimizes risks while maximizing efficiency with predictable transaction fees and WASM smart contracts supporting various programming languages. As of February 19th, TX Market is gearing up for its mainnet rollout early March, with community governance proposals, waitlists for early access, and developer tools like a dev playground. The roadmap points to instant trading between U.S. stocks and RWAs via mobile wallets, expanded global markets, and community incentives like loyalty points. Its open source nature, potentially accelerating its adoption. Things to watch: how it navigates post-launch regulatory hurdles and integrates with major wallets. Could unlock trillions in tokenized value as RWAs go mainstream. TX Market's strong tokenomics stand out for providing revenue predictability through protocol mechanisms tied to platform activity and fees, while delivering much-needed institutional-level liquidity, depth, and access via regulated rails and order book design. So I think that's a big part of it. Like COREUM was not very liquid at all. Like there's still 300 million tokens sitting on the XRPL. So I mean that's a lot of the circulating supply that never did make it to mainnet for it to do what it was supposed to do there. So tokenomics overhaul was definitely needed. This certainly addresses that. Many are concerned maybe a little bit too much, but nonetheless, definitely headed in the right direction. The upcoming Tier 1 exchange listings at the Token Generation event, the TGE, on March 6, 2026, mark a pivotal moment for the broader visibility and trading volume. So that's the other issue is accessibility. Before now, COREUM was very hard to access. The liquidity was very thin anytime anybody wanted to make a purchase. This is going to change that significantly. Have multiple Tier 1 exchange listings coming up March 6th with deep liquidity and a lot more exposure will be available. Now, on to the day one issuers. That's what we're here to talk about. Before I get into that, I'm just going to take a quick look, make sure there's no questions, see if I put everybody to sleep or not. What do we got here? There we go. Put that little banner up there for now. There we go. Excellent. Okay, I don't see any questions there. We're looking good. All right, let's continue on. I'm just going to go through the 9 asset issuers that are going to be live on or near March 6th TG event. And then that'll be pretty much wrapping it up after that. So if you have any questions, now is definitely the time. All right. So the first one, we talked a little bit about it already, is Solotex. As you can see here, they're democratizing equities for Web3 users, positions itself as a Web3 gateway to capital markets, allowing users to access over 5,000 US stocks and ETFs using stablecoins like USDC. Key offerings include on-demand tokenization with full ownership rights, dividends, voting, and reports delivered directly to your account. So this isn't a wrapped product like you're hearing with Ondo and several other chains like that. This is actual stock ownership and all the rights and benefits that come with actually owning a stock, not just a representation of it. All right. It's backed by Texture Capital for full U.S. regulatory compliance and features like long short positions via direct order booked ad trading depth. Interesting aspect, the platform's mobile app coming soon could blend stock tracking with crypto portfolios seamlessly, appealing to hybrid investors. Its focus on frictionless crypto to stock access highlights a shift towards inclusive finance. Things to watch: integration with crypto exchanges for broader liquidity and how it handles market volatility and tokenized equities. Potential for 24/7, maybe 24/5 trading to disrupt traditional hours. The second project we're going to talk about is Crop2, bridging agricultural and blockchain. Crop2 specializes in tokenizing agricultural commodities, backing tokens with physical products like wheat, barley, corn, hazelnut, and soybeans stored in audited warehouses across Europe and Asia. This creates a transparent, traceable investment vehicle accessible via centralized exchanges like Bitlo, CoinTR, and plus its own DEX. Interesting aspects: by tying tokens to real commodities, Crop2 offers inflation hedging without needing farmland. Emphasizing blockchain's role in supply chain transparency, it exports awards underscores global ambitions in agri-fintech. Things to watch: fluctuations in commodity prices due to international markets and expansions into new regions could evolve into yield-bearing DeFi products for farmers and investors. Limpid, fractionalizing alternatives for broader access. I should bring up their page, I guess, and do this. There we go. So this is Rex account, but I'll kind of be doing a video on each one of these individually, just so we're not going too long here on this one. So we'll just introduce them on this one. I've sent them all an invite to come on to the TX Talk on Sunday, or get together to record an interview. So hopefully we'll hear back from them and get some more information directly from the sources here. All right, so let's continue on. Limpid Official enables fractional ownership of multi-assets, including real estate, show jumping horses, luxury goods, and collectibles. Built Mica and MyFid ready, it provides a white label, no-code platform for quick launches, handling legal structure, KYC, AML, and investor onboarding. They started fundraising in just 4 weeks, slashes traditional costs, making tokenization viable for smaller issuers. It's API-driven customization and optional physical redemptions. The example they use here is wine bottles. Blend digital and tangible worlds. With 16 million in tokenized assets already, it's gaining traction. Things to watch: growth in EU distribution networks and how it adapts to evolving regs, potential for viral adoption in luxury niches like equestrian investments. I guess I should go back to the right tab. Hey, I see Devon's here. Welcome, Devon. And a question, how many COREUM do you need to become a node validator? Is it hard to do, and is it safe? It's a good question. I will come back to that just so I can explain or answer it properly, I guess, without breaking into this too much at the moment. So good question. Definitely get you an answer before the end of the show. In short, technically it's a minimum 20,000 COREUM tokens, but I think the current lowest one there, 64th position, is about 170,000, I think. So you need probably close to 200,000 to get on the active validator set currently. But I'll double back to that, answer it more clearly once we're done this. All right, CoreNest Capital. Many of us in the ecosystem are familiar with CoreNest VC. That's the VC fund that Bob and Reza founded. And they have an accelerator focused on El Salvador. We should be hearing more about that in the days ahead. Reza did confirm when he was on the show with us here the other day that they are ready for TX's launch. So we should be Like I said, hearing some updates as far as that go as TG comes closer. It offers tokenized equity asset access with a $25 million pilot fund, providing mentorship, corporate connections, and global capital links. Interesting aspects. The first tokenized VC in the region. It leverages El Salvador's pro-innovation policies to attract non-U.S. investors. Its exclusion of U.S. persons adds a layer of jurisdictional nuance. Things to watch: portfolio expansions into high-profile areas like AI and how geopolitical factors influence LATAM's role in global Web3 could spark regional tech booms. All right, then we have Divin Labs, tokenizing the wine industry's data goldmine. Divin Labs is unifying the $1 trillion wine market via tokenization on Solana, offering access to over 70 wineries worldwide. Features like tasting tokens, track consumption data, enabling direct consumer engagement, loyalty rewards, royalties on aftermarket trades. Smart contracts reduce the trust premium in supply chains, letting winemakers retain more value. Consumer behavior insights could revolutionize marketing for luxury goods. Things to watch: expansion into the broader food and beverage tokenization, integration with DPIN for provenance. Watch for data privacy dynamics in a traditionally opaque industry. All right, and then we have CarCrowd, unlocking collectible cars for everyday investors. There you go. We got at CarCrowd app on X. Fractionalizes collectible cars through syndicates, starting at about £2,000 with outright ownership via UK Bear Trust. It manages storage, insurance, and maintenance while members vote on decisions like sales. Interesting aspects: proprietary data analytics spot trends in tax-efficient asset class with low volatility and strong returns per indices like Knight Frank. Community events add a social layer to investments. Things to watch: syndicated restorations and global expansion could tap into passion economies, but monitor illiquidity risks in secondary markets. All right, let's go back here. All right, 12 Capital, streamlining sports finance for football clubs, serves as a one-stop shop for sports finance, providing capital access to European professional football clubs through structured deals and tokenized equity. Smart Capital, stronger clubs. Ethos focuses on compliant EU setups, potentially unlocking fan-owned models in a multi-billion-dollar industry. Things to watch: ties to major leagues like UEFA and how tokenization enhances club liquidity. Viral potential if it bridges fans with ownership stakes. All right, so a lot going on. Again, these are day one asset issuers on TX, so we've got a lot to look forward to here, as this is just 2 weeks away. So Reboost, opening real estate doors in Europe. Reboost offers tokenized access to early stage European residential products with minimums from €1,000 and targeted 8% annual yields. It structures mezzanine financing alongside banks, ensuring bank grade due diligence. Fast onboarding and clear reporting democratize Luxembourg-based investments, completing senior debt for developers. No hidden fees, emphasize transparency. Things to watch: project exits averaging 18 to 22 months and reinvestment options could grow amid housing demand, but track economic factors affecting real estate cycles. All right, this one's getting a lot of attention. Tokenized Energy provides fractional ownership of U.S. oil, gas, and mineral assets with monthly USDC distributions from royalties and working interests. Built on Base blockchain, it targets 10 to 35% returns via SPVs. Interesting aspects: real-time transparency into production and prices, offers inflation protection and diversification. Tax benefits like intangible drilling costs appeal to U.S. investors. Things to watch: commodity price swings and energy transition shifts, potential for green integrations, but monitor regulatory and environmental pressures. All right, so that was then day one. Issuers showcase a breadth of tokenization from everyday equities to exotic collectibles, setting the stage for compliant, interconnected ecosystem. As we hit early 2026, the platform's focus on interoperability and third-party compliance could accelerate RWA adoption. Right, so that's pretty much a start to finish on TX, how we got here and where it's going between now and March 6th when TGE goes live. I'm just going to take a look on X. Maybe what I'll do first, I'll go find Articulate's little riff that he did here. I'll play that real quick. I think it's right here. Yeah, here we go.
Bring the things come tokenize it. 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 Bring the things come. Bring the things come. Bring the things come tokenize it. Bring the things come tokenize it. Bring the things come tokenize it.
All right, nice little gem from our friend Articulate. And that was actually on the Smart Meme X page there. So you can follow what he's doing. Check out his website at smartmemetoken.com. I didn't see any questions over there on X. I don't see any here over on YouTube. Devon's just joining me late night. We will work towards wrapping things up. Reminder, do have a space tomorrow. And that is going to be at 12 p.m. Pacific. There we go. And we'll cover a lot of the stuff that we talked about here. Will be available to answer questions on that, kind of the road to March 6th merger and TGE, bridging your IOUs, kind of like what we talked about here. What happens to the Sologenic token afterwards, right? It's definitely meant to be bridged over. Will it be supported afterwards? We'll talk about that. Day one RWA issuers. Like I said, I sent some invitations out. I told them we gather every Sunday, 12 p.m. Maybe somebody will stop by, say hello, introduce themselves to the community. We'll get into the COREUM community DAO. Like I said, we have that Rewards Snapshot coming up March 21st. We'll answer some questions on that. We want to know how to get involved. And we have the gift contest. You can head to our Discord, learn about that, win some COREUM Community DAO tokens for making some TX gifts. We got to get some gifts out there so we can help share the new name and project. And Join Cruise Control has liquidity provider staking rewards that we put up 5,000 COREUM and 50,000 CCD for. So talk about that tomorrow. You can set your reminders on my post there so you don't miss a minute. All right, I think we will work towards wrapping things up there. As a reminder, if you want to stake your COREUM, find your way to COREUM Community Validator. If you want some assistance finding some good recommended community validators to spread your delegations out amongst several, reach out, help you find your way to some good projects that might align with your vision. And then we did have a question. Before we go, here we go. How many COREUM do you need to become a node validator? There you go. Let's go to Smart Stake Analytics. And we will take a look at that exactly here. Currently, now I suspect this might even change because it was suggested that Kraken is going to be running a validator on the network. Uphold possibly also. So that's at least 2 more validators coming on. You can see Texture Digital Transfers has already found its way here. But the 64th validator on the network has 172,000 tokens delegated to it. So that means you would need 173,000 or more to get on the active set. So like I said, with a couple more validators coming on, I suspect, as you can see, the next one up is 367K. It's probably going to be 500,000, close to 1 million tokens to get a validator on there. And then, is it hard to do and is it safe? Well, that really depends. It varies on your technical knowledge. If you can manage it yourself, there is third-party service providers that can manage it for you. And is it safe? Again, kind of depends on the path you choose with how that all rolls out there. So that's a tough one to answer specifically. Biggest thing around it is maintaining yourself on the active set. Having a project or a community around your validator certainly helps achieve that. As you see, there's a mix of community and institutional validators, but the community ones, like I said, are usually have a project or a community they've built around it too. So hopefully that helps. If you want to expand on that, learn more about what that might look like, certainly reach out. Happy to discuss that with you further. All right, so I think that wraps it up. Just over an hour, did pretty good. That's pretty good for me, hitting an hour. Tried to go through it at a decent rate, so we didn't keep you guys too long. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Let me know what you think about the new look, the new brand. How about that opening intro by Bibby? We're still working on polishing things up as far as the brand changeover, but that was a heck of a nice start. So shout out to him for getting that done for me on short notice. But otherwise, I'll be back on X tomorrow, 12 p.m. Pacific, with my trusted co-host Articulate and a bunch of good COREUM community DAO friends and family. And another question just came up here. Any information about the KYC waiting period? No, I'm not too sure. I have not heard anything specific about the KYC process yet. So I'll definitely keep you posted on that as those details come available. I imagine, like I said, with less than 2 weeks to go, we're going to be hearing a lot of information. The team dropped a pretty powerful interview on the New York Stock Exchange wrap-up show. So on Friday, I imagine next week they're going to hit the ground running with letting us know a little bit more details on how they're rolling all this out. I will be here to cover that as it happens, as the most trusted source of TX ecosystem news and content. All right. Well, that's going to wrap things up here tonight. We'll leave the show with, what do we want to end with here? We'll go with Articulate's Boom Shakalaka. Why not? That'll wrap things up here for today, everybody. Appreciate all your support. Peace and prosperity to you all.
Articulate, articulate, articulate. It's broken. I think they're ready. Yo! Boom, shakalaka, laka, 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 boom. Do you dance? Everybody make room. Boom, shakalaka, laka, 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 boom. Press gas, shake it, vroom, vroom. Boom, shakalaka, laka, 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 boom. From a nose, so you feel this tune. Boom, shakalaka, laka, 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 boom. Boom, boom, yo. Just boom, shakalaka, waistline proper. Pop, pop. Lick a firecracker, big showstopper, frequent shopper. No off cook now, feed pan whopper, and a serious matter. Big up the shatters, respect the youth now, kill them brothers. Long life to live down, this your mother. In this life, never get another. Boom shakalaka laka 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 boom. Do you dance? Everybody make room. Boom shakalaka laka 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 boom. Press gas, shake it, vroom vroom. Boom shakalaka laka 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 boom. From your nose, so you feel this tune. Boom shakalaka laka 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 boom. Boom boom boom. Time for joy, time for get sadder. Time for straight or time for use grabber. Time for sneakers, time for bank robber. Time for sticks, then time for some shabba. Time for peace, time for ratatata. Time for prayer, our father. No time for hate, love one another. No hate, love one another. Boom shakalaka laka 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 boom. Do you dance? Everybody make room. Boom shakalaka laka 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 boom. Press gas, shake it, vroom vroom. Boom shakalaka laka 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 boom. From a nose, so you feel this tune. Boom shakalaka laka 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 boom. Boom boom boom. Just boom shakalaka, baseline proper. Pop pop. Like a firecracker, big showstopper, frequent shopper. No off cook now, feed pan whopper, and a serious matter. Big up the shatters, respect the youth now, kill them brothers. Long life to live down, this your mother. In this life, never get another. Boom shakalaka laka 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 boom. Boom shakalaka laka 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 boom. Vroom vroom. Boom shakalaka laka 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 boom. Boom shakalaka laka 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 boom.